Hello everyone, welcome to today's practice. My name is Dorian. For anybody who is newer to practicing with me, thanks so much for showing up, for taking the time to stretch, to move, to breathe, to balance, to practice whatever it is that brings you a little closer to yourself today. Today's practice is designed to address muscular tension in the lower back. And so if you have muscular tension in the lower back and you know that you're dealing with lower back tension in the muscles, this might be something that's very beneficial to you. If you are experiencing pain or discomfort in your lower back that is not muscular, anything that might be nerve or spinal related, this might not be the greatest practice for you. So just checking first, letting that be a little disclaimer. And moving ahead, for today's practice, we will be using 2 blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks at home, it's really okay to get creative with whatever it is that you may have around your space. And in addition to the blocks, we're also going to be using a pillow. This is just a regular throw pillow from off of the couch. And also a blanket. So you can also get creative. Feel free to use a bath towel, whatever it is that you have that you can use to help support yourself. And we're going to start off this practice by laying down on our backs, and that's going to give us a lot of information. So once you have the props that you need, go ahead and stretch yourself out and lay down on your back. And as you find your way down to the ground, your body's going to give you a little bit of information. You're going to notice if it's easy, first and foremost, to lay down on the ground. And then as you find your way against the earth, connecting to your breath, you're going to notice that potentially some parts of your backs are raised away from the ground. So if you have a pronounced lift of your chest, the upper back away from the ground, then what you're going to do is go ahead, scoot your right shoulder over to the right, left shoulder over to the left, make some space so that the heart can drop down towards the ground in between your shoulder blades. And then tuck your chin into your chest slightly so that the back of the neck is nice and long against the earth. And that might create some space in your upper back. Now, for those of us that have a pronounced lift of the lower back away from the ground, you're going to do something different. You're going to begin to slide your heels towards the foot end of your mat, scooching, inchworming the heels away from your hips to lengthen the lower back body. And then you're going to go ahead and draw the navel center in towards the backbone. And see if you can just let the belly drop a little closer towards the earth. So letting the place in the back of the lower back or behind the belly button drop down towards the ground. And then once you have as much of the length of your spine attached to the earth as you can manage in this moment without pain, go ahead and just let your head and shoulders get heavy. Rotate your palms face up towards the sky. Just allow the backs of the knees to even ooze open against the earth underneath you and begin to really focus on your breathing. Now, we're not going to be moving too aggressively in this practice, so something that we're going to be doing in these long holds of a pose is just scanning through the body, noticing any places that are resistant to what we are doing. Just taking our time to be with that resistance a little bit mentally so that the parts of our bodies that are calling out for attention can have an opportunity to get that attention and then to let go. So starting with your toes, notice if your toes are gripping here and just letting go of the tension in the toes. Noticing if your legs are flopped in or flopped out. Or you might even have one leg that's flopped in and one that's flopped out. And then just letting go. Scanning your way up to the muscles of the glutes. Sometimes it's so hard for the glutes to release when we're lying down on our backs. And just do your best to let the breath help to soothe the muscular tension in the glutes. Softening once again the lower back space, letting it drop. Allowing the belly to have some movement. So keeping the belly soft so that you are free to inhale and exhale as much as you can, as much as you need. Noticing also the movement in the rib cage, feeling the swelling of the ribs with an inhale, and feeling how the entire body diminishes towards the earth with your exhales. Notice if it's difficult to lay with your palms face up towards the sky. Are the thumbs creeping in towards the midline of the body? Can you just let the backs of the arms rotate down so that the palms can easily rest up towards the ceiling? It's very okay to have the fingers curled slightly in towards the palm. You might give yourselves a few swallows just to relax the throat. And then whether your eyes are open or closed, try to soften the area around the eyes so that your gaze isn't too intensely focused on anything, and you can take the time to build more internal awareness. Releasing the skin of your scalp, releasing the skin of your forehead, and just allowing yourself a space to land. Go ahead, take a nice full breath in, and a full exhale out. Again, breathing in, and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, 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 breathing in, breathing out. Last time, breathing in and breathing out. Just taking the time once again here to briefly scan through your bodies and reassess the situation, noticing any differences from the way that you might have felt when you first laid down in this position. If anything has opened or if anything feels less tight, or potentially something might feel more tight. You never know. And working with your body's breath, go ahead, bend your knees and step the soles of your feet down to the earth. From here, scoop your tailbone underneath so that the curve in the lower back comes completely out and the belly gets hollow. Retuck your chin in towards your chest. And just see if you can scooch the tail of your the tail end of your spine a little closer towards the foot end of your mat. And that might help. That might be helped or aided by pressing the soles of your feet against the ground and just scooping the tailbone and pelvis slightly underneath. Once again, let the shoulders drop. Make sure that you have a clear passage for breath, moving in and out of the nose. Keeping the fingers soft, keeping the jaw soft. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last time, breathing in and breathing out. Once again, reassess. Notice anything that might have changed with the bending of your knees. And then really carefully, without lifting your head, draw your knees into your chest. Wrap your fingers around your shins to get a nice fit of the legs into the torso. We're just going to circle around on our lower back body. So pick a direction to circle the knees around and begin to circle around in that direction. And here, if you imagine that your lower back was divided up into 4 different sections, try to hit all 4 of those sections as you find your way around in your knee circle. The upper right, the lower left, and the upper left. We're just using the weight of the legs to massage the lower back a little closer to the ground, releasing those muscles that run alongside the spine on either side. Good work, everybody. We're just going to switch directions. So changing direction, circling your knees in the opposite way. Once again, the breath is key. Trying to keep that breath even and steady so that our bodies stay relaxed as we ask our bodies to open. Really good, everyone. Keeping the knees drawn into the chest, take your arms by your sides. Palms face down against the earth, press into your hands, shift your hips over to the right, and then go ahead, let both of your knees drop over to the left. We're going to turn this into a twist. So you can either keep your knees stacked one on top of another. If that's not a good fit in your bodies, you can slide your blanket in between your knees for some extra cushion. And then go ahead and begin to open your right arm out to the right and your left arm out to the left so that your body turns into a T shape. And then float your gaze over your right shoulder. We're going to be here for a few breaths. So first things first, arranging the lower body, noticing whether the toes are clenched or whether you can release the toes as you stack the ankles on top of another. And then in your awareness of your body, noticing that the heels should be directly underneath the knees. So try to find that right angle of calf muscles to thigh muscles. And then moving up the legs, try to extend those knees out directly from the hips so that your knees and hips are approximately at the same level. And then to move into the mid-body, instead of sticking your belly out, butt back, do the exact opposite. Draw your belly in, curl your tailbone slightly underneath, and then press the back of your left hand against the earth in order to deepen the twist over your right shoulder. Checking in with the orientation of the gaze, you might notice that your chin is lifted. See if you can actually draw the chin a little down towards that right shoulder, and that'll help bring the twist into the cervical spine, into the neck. Try not to clench your fingers here. Trying to allow the backs of both arms to rest against the earth. And then the work is breathing. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more time, breathing in. And gently sighing that breath out. We're gonna bring our bodies back to the center. So go ahead, lift your knees back into your chest. You can wrap your fingers around your shins, give yourselves a little squeeze, hugging the knees nice and close to the torso. And then once again, keep the knees drawn in, palms drop down to the earth by your sides. Press into your hands, lift up your hips, slide the hips over to the left. And then go ahead, let both of your knees drop off over to the right. So even though we're doing the same thing on this side, the body might feel different. So once again, take the time to structure your stretch. Noticing if the toes are clenched, releasing the toes. Drawing the heels in line with the knees. Allowing the thigh bones to get heavy. And then gently beginning to revolve your gaze over the left shoulder, opening the left arm out to the left, and the right arm out to the right. Tug the navel center in towards the backbone, scoop the tailbone slightly underneath, and then just allow the left side ribs to get heavy as you float your gaze over the left shoulder. Taking your time once again to find that grounded energy, trusting that the earth isn't going to move from underneath you. And then just softening into the breath. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. One more time, breathing in and breathing out. Carefully, easily draw your knees into your chest. Wrapping your fingers around your shins. Give yourself a squeeze, hugging the knees in close to the torso, and then lift the back of your head up away from the earth. Rocking from side to side a few times, lengthening the spine muscles. And then start to rock and roll forwards and back along the length of your spine. Gaining a little bit of momentum until you're able to rock your way upright. We're going to find our way into a cross-legged seat of your choice. So it can be a Sukhasana, it could be a Siddhyasana. You can feel free to sit on blocks or on some extra padding if it's difficult to find a cross-legged seat. And then once you find your way into that cross-legged seat, let your hands come to a prayer at the heart center. Feeling the thumbs press against the sternum, the center of the breastbone. And then actively widen your elbows away from the heels of your hands and press your right hand into your left so that you can feel the muscles in your upper back body turn on, the place where the shoulders connect to the upper back. Take a nice full breath in and a deep breath out. Again, breathing in, feel what moves, and breathing out. On your next inhale, lift that prayer all the way up to the sky. Here, you can wiggle around a little bit, seeing if you can create some space between your rib cage and your waist, just lengthening through the back body. And then lifting your shoulders up by your ears, give yourself an inch, a millimeter, 2 more of space. On your exhale, we're going to side bend over to the right. So let the right hand drop to the earth off to the right side of your body. And then reach your left arm over your left ear. As you reach the left fingers, feel the left side waist lengthen. And as we're side bending over towards the right, your left hip might want to lift up away from the ground. Try to keep that left hip nice and rooted, so the left sitting bone never leaves the earth here. If it's difficult to side bend without that assistance of blocks, you can take a block underneath your right hand. And then instead of arching your spine, drawing the navel center out, do the opposite. Draw the navel center in, slightly round your upper back body so that you can really isolate the QL, the quadratus lumborum, on the left side here. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, Breathing out. Breathing in. With time, you might get a little lower to the earth. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Keep energy reaching through your fingertips. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more time. Breathing in. And breathing out. From here, we're going to turn to face the right thigh. So we're going to lift up our torso slightly, guide the third eye center and the navel center in the direction of your right thigh bone, and then begin to crawl your fingers in that diagonal, so to the upper right-hand corner of your space. And this might be another great place to grab your blocks and slide them underneath your hands so that you can use the blocks sort of as an extension of your arm. So you can just walk the blocks in that direction if it's difficult to reach the ground with your fingertips or your palms. And then once again, instead of arching the lower back, draw the navel center in and then stretch your head and shoulders forward. You might soften your gaze or close your eyes just to be with the opening of your body. Everything becomes about this right diagonal and the rooting of your seat to the earth in opposition to the extension of your upper body. So breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Two more times. Breathing in, breathing out. Last time. Breathing in and breathing out. From here, we're going to start to walk our hands to the center. So either using blocks, or if you're not using blocks, that's okay. Walk your palms to the center so that you're folding forward over your crossed thigh or crossed shins. And then once again, see if you can draw the navel center into the backbone and allow the head to descend as you stretch the lower back. Reaching the fingertips as far forward as you can. And then once you get to that point where your body's not going to stretch anymore, time to focus on the breath. Full inhales in. Deep exhales out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more time. Breathing in. And breathing out. Start to walk your hands on the direction of that left diagonal. So now we're going to reach our torso, the third eye, in the direction of your left thigh bone. Navel to spine. Stretch the shoulders forward, stretch the heart forward. And then once you get to that place, once again, where your body is not going to stretch any further, without breathing, you breathe. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Focus on the exhale. Inhaling deep. Exhaling deeper. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. 2 more times. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last time. Breathing in. And breathing out. From here, we're going to come back into our side bend shape. So leaving your left arm extended out to the left, just begin to stretch your right arm over your right ear, leaning to the left side. And once again, as far as you stretch over towards the left, make sure that that right sitting bone stays attached to the earth as you breathe in and out. And in, and out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. 2 more. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Breathing in and breathing out. Using an inhale, press the seat down, lift a prayer back high above your heads. Woo! On your exhale, go ahead and allow both of your palms to drop down to the earth on either side of your hips. The fingertips are going to point forward in the direction of your knees. Start to draw your shoulder blades together. And then go ahead and stretch your legs out long in front of you. And give your legs a little shake out. Might feel nice after that cross-legged seat in the forward fold. And then keeping your hands by your hips, go ahead, bend your knees and step the soles of your feet down to the earth. We're going to come into a shape called altar pose. So pressing the hands and feet against the ground, start to rise your hips away from the earth. Doing your best to flatten your belly towards the sky as you open your heart. Inhale through the nose. Stick out your tongue, make some noise. Ah. And then go ahead, lower your tailbone down to the earth. And we're going to cross our legs, but we're going to switch directions. So if your right leg was in front the first time, your left leg's going to be in front this time. Most of us have a natural inclination which way to cross our legs. So when you switch the direction of the crossed legs, it helps your body to grow and adapt. Hands are going to come back to a prayer at the heart center. And then using an inhale, go ahead and stretch that prayer all the way up high to the sky. Once again, you might wiggle around a little bit just to create some space in between the ribs. And then reach up nice and tall, pierce the sky with your fingertips. On your exhale, we're going to side bend back over towards the left. So if you're using a block, this might be an opportunity to switch the orientation of the block so that it comes to a lower setting for an extra challenge. Or if you were using a block, this time, as we find our way through this sequence, you might relieve yourself of the block. So you might have tried the first side with the block or the first go around with the block, and this time you might just let that block move its way out to the side. I'm not going to use a block for this second round. And so as I lean into my left forearm, I'm stretching the right side body, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, rotating the rib cage, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, getting a little closer to the ground, breathing in, breathing out. 3 more rounds of breath. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, Last one, breathing in and breathing out. Good work, everybody. Turn to face your left thigh. Give your fingers a little walk in the direction of that left diagonal. Keeping the seat rooted, lengthening the lower back. And then once again, the work is in the breath. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. 3 more times. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. 1 more time. Breathing in and breathing out. Start to walk your hands to the center. And then stretching the fingertips forward, lengthening the lower back, navel to spine, breathing in, breathing out. Softening the tops of the shoulders, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. 3 more times. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Last time. Breathing in and breathing out. And then walking your hands over towards the right. Reaching the rib cage in the direction of that right diagonal. Chin into chest, navel to spine, lengthening the back body. And then the breath, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. 3 more times. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Last time. Breathing in and breathing out. Turning it into a side bend. That right arm is already out to the right. We're just going to stretch the left arm over the left ear. And we're going to lean over to the right. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. You might spiral your left hand pinky side down so you can smooth the upper left shoulder back into your back body. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out 3 more times. Take an inhale and an exhale. Inhaling. Exhaling. Last time, inhaling and exhaling. Beautiful, everyone. Take an inhale to rise up out of your side bend, lifting that prayer high above your heads. And then on your exhale, go ahead and take your hands to the earth on either side of your hips. Extend your legs forwards towards the front of your space. Give your legs a little shake out. Ooh. And then go ahead, keep your hands by your hips, bend your knees, step the soles of your feet down to the ground. From here, we're just gonna windshield wiper the knees from side to side. So letting them drop to the right and drop to the left. Noticing how the hips and the lower back are intrinsically connected here. Good work, everyone, way to go. At some point, we're going to swing our legs around behind us and find our way into a hands and knees pose. For those of us that have sensitive knees, you can take a blanket underneath your knees here for some extra cushion. And then do make sure that your blocks are close by so that you can grab them if and when you need to grab a hold of a block. Landing your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips, we're going to come into a few rounds of cat and cow. So pressing the tops of your feet against the earth, use an inhale, drop your belly, float the gaze up towards the ceiling. On your exhale, do the opposite. Draw the navel center in as your head sinks down towards the ground. 5 rounds. Inhale, belly drop, gaze rises. Exhaling to curl into yourselves. Feel free to make this really nice and slow, luxuriate in the movement of your bodies. Inhale, belly drops, gaze rises high, feeling the articulation of the spine. Exhale, curl in, look at your navel center, drop your heads that much. Inhale, belly drops, gaze rises. Exhale to curl in and down. 2 more times, breathing in, belly drops, gaze lifts. Exhale to curl in. And then last time, belly drops, gaze floats high. And curling on into yourselves. You might take a few circles here, circling the knees, or rather circling the hips around the knees, circling the shoulders around the wrists. And then we're going to circle in the opposite direction. Nice work, everybody. From here, we're going to set ourselves up for a child's pose, but we're going to make it really specific so that we can hold it, so that we can focus on the muscles of the lower back. So in order to do that, we're going to take our blanket. Once again, if you have sensitive knees, the blanket can go underneath your knees. If when you come into a child's pose, if you have sensitivity in the backs of your knees, then I'm going to show everybody a little trick. You can take a blanket and make it into a little roll. So I'm rolling my blanket into like a little noodle. And then I'm going to take my mat and I'm going to put a bubble in it for my knees. I'm going to flip a little bubble in my mat so that I can rest my knees on something nice and cushy. I'm going to take my blanket, I'm going to place it behind my knees so that as I set my hips back towards my heels to come into my child's pose shape, the flexion in the knees doesn't get uncomfortable in my body. I'm going to take my pillow and I'm going to take that pillow and I'm going to slide it really close to my hip crease. I'm going to really squish it up into the crease of my hips so that when I forward fold, I have something like a barrier that's going to make the hump of my lower back. It's going to allow my lower back to round slightly here. So, pillow in, blanket between my calves and my thighs, a little bubble underneath my knees. My blocks are right there so that as I begin to stretch forward, my hands can find their way to blocks if it's hard to reach the ground. So here I go, coming into my child's pose shape. Keeping my hips back towards my heels, allowing that pillow to stay nicely situated And so this might not look like your traditional child's pose shape, the one that you see normally, but it is going to help to isolate the rounding of the lower back, creating some space here in between your low ribs or your floating ribs and your pelvis. From here, I'm just going to allow my head to drop down. We're going to be spending a little bit of time here, a little bit of breath. So you might notice that as you spend more time, you might not need the blocks underneath your hands. You might be able to slide a block underneath your forehead and take your hands down to the earth. You also might flip your palms face up towards the sky, especially if your arms are tired. And then once again, the work is all about the breath. Breathing in, breathing out, 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 breathing in, breathing out. Last time, breathing in and breathing out. You might want to stay here for the rest of your day. That's totally fine. If that's you, feel free to stay where you are. You might begin to walk your hands back towards your knees, carefully pressing your palms against the earth to roll your bodies back upright. Give yourself a moment to adjust to being upright after your child's pose. And then we're going to go ahead and move the props out to the side. So you're going to move your pillow. You're going to move the bubble in your mat. And you're going to move your noodle. All right, everyone. We're going to come to lay down on our backs, making sure all the props are close by so that you can use them if and when you need to use. Soles of the feet are going to find their way down to the earth. Take one of your blocks, go ahead, press your feet against the earth, lift your hips up, and then slide that block underneath your sacrum at the lowest, flattest setting. So the sacrum is the back of the pelvis, the triangular structure in the back of the pelvis, and it's not quite the meat of your glutes. It's not your lower back. It's in between the meat of your glutes and your lower back. So it should feel like a very supportive place in your body. And then to focus here on aiding or alleviating lower back muscular tension, what we're going to do is we're going to inchworm our rib cage away from that block. So the sacrum is going to stay on the block. The rib cage is just going to move a little bit in the upwards direction. And then just try to let your ribs get heavy. You can take your fingers and place them on top of your belly and just use the added weight of your hands to help let the rib cage get low towards the earth. So the tailbone is slightly scooped underneath here, slightly. Just trying to get the shoulders down away from the ears. Try to allow the knees to be soft, the backs of the knees especially. Making sure that all 10 toes are still making contact with the earth, the inner and outer edges of the feet. Allowing the jaw to grow slack. Releasing the muscles of the face. Just feeling the movement of the belly underneath your fingers. Noticing the speed of the inhales and exhales, the frequency of the inhales and the exhales. Just noticing how this breath might feel different from the breath that we started our practice with. Just stay here for another few cycles of breath. And really gently press your feet down against the earth. Start to lift your hips up off of that block. And then take the block out to the side. Lower your tailbone down to the earth. Widen your feet, let your knees knock in towards each other. So internally rotate your thigh bone heads and your hip joints. And then scoop the tailbone towards the foot end of the mat to let the lower back flatten once again against the earth. Now, if it's difficult to guide your inner knees and inner thighs together, you can use your hands on the outer thighs to help. Just gently pressing your thighs together. Good, everyone. Cactus your arms by your ears, letting the backs of the arms rest against the earth. And really gently windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Carefully, without lifting your heads, draw your knees into your chest. Give yourselves a squeeze. And then expand, arms, legs, everything comes down to the earth. We're going to find our way into a nice Shavasana moment, a nice restful, awakened state. Before you let go completely, make sure that you are allowing yourself enough space to land. Right shoulder to the right, left shoulder to the left. Palms open towards the sky. Softening the lips. Softening the throat. Then being as at ease as you can manage. Drifting yourselves away. Take a full breath in through the nose. Sigh it out through the mouth. Wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. Stretch your arms over your head, reach the heels in one direction, fingers in the opposite. And then bend your knees and step the soles of your feet down to the earth. And take a roll over onto your side. Just curling yourselves up in a ball shape here. Taking a little time to connect all the pieces. And then in your own speed, whenever you're ready, carefully begin to rise up to a seat. Try to make sure that your head is the last thing that lifts all the way upright. Allowing your palms to rest face down on your thighs. A little bit of extra grounding energy. And just arriving where you are. In order to celebrate our practice, in order to celebrate any changes that might have happened or any awareness that might have deepened, allow your palms to come to a prayer at the heart. And then feeling free to join in for the sound of Om. Taking a full breath in. Thanks everyone so much for joining in, for sharing your breath, for sharing your energy. Namaste.